Hi, my name is Lakshmikant and I'm a BI HANA with Vivo Design Studio consultant in Norway. And the main objective of this particular session is to show you the filter criteria between the chart and the crosstab. And I'm gonna demonstrate one small example for you. So the main objective is I have one crosstab and I have one chart, and if I'm making a specific selection on chart and the chart is segregated into daily, weekly, monthly and yearly. So the expectation is if I select on daily, the cross tab has to show the categories which are related to daily, and if it is yearly, it should the category information should show the yearly data, and accordingly monthly and weekly as well. So I do have one dimension which is category and two key figures. So if I'm making on select selection on my chart, the crosstab has to differ accordingly. All right. So I just want to show you of the technicalities, how exactly we achieved this particular session. I have a report here. So this is my canvas, and I just segregated the crosstab and chart this way. And I would like to show you the data source, and I built one Bex data source, and this particular data source initial view looks like this. I have two dimensions, one is category and period. So I am gonna use the same query, and I created the two data sources, and this is the data source one for the crosstab. I used this particular data source for the crosstab, and I put my key figures and the dimensions accordingly, and I put my period, which is daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly in the background filter. So the reason why we need to put this particular period in the background filter is I will explain this in detail in the later example. But we need to put the period in the background filter. And I'm using the data source 2 for the chart. So I'm just showing you the initial view, and I used period in the row section, and my key figures remains unaltered, and I put category in the background filter. Yeah. So now I pulled up the crosstab, and I'm using the data source 1, and I am using the chart here, and I'm using the data source 2. And you need to keep one thing in mind, that for both the data sources the Bex query is same. The only thing which we have altered is period and category. In the crosstab we have used, in the rows section we have used the category, and in the background filter section we have used the period, and in the chart data source we used period in the rows, and we used category in the filter section. So that is the difference. So I picked up the chart, and I used the pie chart, the chart type as pie chart, and it's important that I need to make selection. The expectation is if I click on daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly, the expectation is the crosstab data should change. So that is the reason why I need to have some sort of selection. So I used selection mode as multiple. So you can just select the single as well. So it doesn't matter if you would like to do a multiple selections where you want to see the multiple category data, you can just choose multiple, or you can choose single. So I'm just choosing single here, and I just save it. And now the expectation is we need to set up a filter. So the chart and the crosstab has to talk each other. And if I select my chart, there should be a filter set up in the crosstab level, at the crosstab level. So I go to my chart and I go to onSelect statement and I write this piece of script to establish the communication between crosstab and the chart. So whenever I select the chart, this is my data source. This is the ds underscore 1 is the data source for crosstab, and I am setting up the filter on the period level. So if you remember, we chose period in the background filters in the data source one. The reason is if you are not putting up the period in the background filters, you never you cannot select this particular period in the script level. So that is the main objective. So I set the period here and I selected the chart, whatever the chart I'm using. I selected and I'm just using the get selected member prompt here, and again I'm selecting the period. So I click on OK. I click on OK here, and I saved I already saved this application, and I just go and execute this locally, and this is the output. And if I'm selecting my daily here, my category is 1 to 5, showing up actual and SPLY values for daily, and this is monthly. The figures got changed here. This is weekly, the figures has been changed here. This is yearly. So this is the way it works out. Hope you understood the session, and thanks for watching.